Testing, testing. Hello, everybody. It is me, Seventh Hanuman. Today, I have a video to show you guys. It's part of the Hidden in Plain Sight playlist. And give me a second while I set this up. Okay, so this video. Hey, David, how are you? Well, thank you for joining me. Hey, I listened to one of your Converse Nerve Gorilla. That was very interesting. I think you handle yourself really well. You were calm and you had your composure together, so that was really good. You want to join in on this live stream? It would be great to have you on here if you want to. You can use your cell phone and do. You just gotta punch in this link, and you can just do it from your cell phone. So here's a link. So today I'm gonna show a video. Oh yeah, you were very honest with that interview. That was a good interview. Yeah, you handle yourself very well. Let me oh, here we go. Hey, what's up, David?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. How are you doing? I haven't talked to you in a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah, I've been watching some of your live streams. Maybe a little bit after they were done. They're pretty good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. In about a week from now, I will be showing my theory on the faces of these gang stalkers. So I hope you'll be there to watch it.
Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, as soon as I get a message like that shows that you're online, I jump on.
Sure. It's crazy how it's for 2 years I've been slowly, just releasing information, and finally it's coming to that day. And the reason I did it that way is because I want to gain credibility, and I want people in the community to believe me, because after all we have are theories, and I try to present a good one. And hopefully people will buy into it. But I know not everyone's going to buy into it, but I just hope the majority of the people in the community, they will it will make sense to them.
Yeah.
And I know for you're going to find a lot of the information, it will make a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So you're going to have no problem. So today I'm just going to play this video, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to share the screen. 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Here we go. Now, this is a recording. It's a recording from, let me see if I can. It's a recording from one of my CCTV, and this is from 2 years ago, 2021.
Okay.
And this is the driveway of my place, and I will play it. And people in the community, you might have seen videos like these. Some people call them the DEW, or they don't know what it is, but they'll capture it. I'm sure a lot of TIs have security cameras. And when you have security cameras, I'm pretty sure a good amount of TIs will capture something like this. But where I live, this is very active. So I'm going to play it now. It's going to have no sound. So I purposely turned the sound off because I'm talking in it, and I will explain it later. But I'm going to play it now. You ready?
Okay. Yep.
Here we go. Now, notice these things flying around.
Yeah.
Now, when you see this, what do you think it is?
Ghosts.
Okay. Well, obviously you know your stuff.
Yeah.
But for the community, a lot of TIs they don't have no knowledge of stuff like this and they wouldn't believe it. But I know a lot of TIs also have captured this on their cameras.
Hmm.
They might
Yeah,
capture it at what's that?
those are orbs. Yeah, those are ghosts.
Exactly. So where
Yeah.
I live, this is my driveway, okay? I mean, this is only from one camera. These are very active,
Yeah.
extremely active where I live. Because sometimes people they might record only one or two that's fly through the frame of the camera. And I've seen TI label it as oh the neighbors are using DW attack on them. But where I live, look how active these things are.
Hmm.
And this is only from one cameras, okay?
When was this?
This is 2021. And
Were you doing like a live stream, or were you making a video at this time?
I've been making videos since 2020.
No, but I mean specifically at the time of this video's recording, were you busy talking about like this kind of a thing? Like maybe
Nope.
like it's said that when you stare at the darkness stares back. So if you start talking about it, then they're like, "Oh crap, this guy's talking about us." So then they all rush to you to see what you're going to say. So
I mean,
maybe you were making a video at the time, and they're like, "Let's go see what he's saying."
well, if that's the case, these guys already know that I've been making video. I
Yeah,
mean, you know what's strange about this? This comes in waves. Like it's not happening every night, but once in a while they'll come, and when they come, it's like an army.
yeah,
It's literally a traveling army of them. Just look at it. It's
yeah.
literally a traveling army, and they come by the millions.
Jeez.
So the first time I ever saw this, okay, back in 2019 or so, 2018,
Hmm.
I thought they were like bugs. It's like, damn, there's a lot of bugs outside. You know, so I would
Yeah,
go outside, cigarette or something, and I wouldn't see any bugs. There's no bugs hitting my face. And I was just like, what the heck's going on?
yeah. And
But
if they were bugs, they would be going in different directions, not all in the same direction, right?
yes. See, it's like these things are being guided by wind. Like some wind is blowing them towards a certain direction and they're moving like an army.
Yeah.
So when I thought I was like, okay, it was bugs. At the time, I still believe it was my neighbors coming over. Okay.
Hmm.
So I wasn't really like putting too much effort into thinking about what's going on with this. I didn't really spend too much time trying to investigate what's going on. I just thought there were bugs and there was no bugs. So I kind of just let it be, only until it keep occurring, on certain nights. Even then, it took me a while to really start investigating and kind of find out what they are and learn about them, and then led me into a bigger investigation. And now let me ask you this. So imagine you're standing out there, right? So
No.
imagine you're standing out there. Imagine you're standing there, okay? Right
Okay.
there
Yeah.
by the fence. What do you think is happening if you're standing there?
Oh, you just got a bunch of like orbs traveling all around you, going through you.
Get this though. One thing that later on I found out, they don't just always go through you. We inhale air, right?
Yeah.
They actually go inside of you as well.
Yeah.
Now, isn't that a
Yeah.
crazy thought?
Well, I mean, it's in the Bible. You get possessed, right? They possess. They're always looking for like a body they can possess, right, or manipulate somebody. Like it's like when you play a video game and you take over the body of the main character. It's like that for them.
Yeah. Now, imagine them going into your lungs. I may mention that in the past, my videos that, they can anchor towards you, anchor inside of you, your clothing, everything. Now,
Yeah.
imagine they fly into your nose or into your ears.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that if they're hanging out inside your ears? I mean, these things are flying everywhere, right?
Yeah. If they're flying, if they're hanging out in your ears, yeah, then you can hear them.
Now, think about that.
Yeah.
If they're inside your ears and they're like an energy source, what are the chances of them able to manipulate your thought process?
Oh yeah, for sure,
Like,
absolutely. Like, yeah, it's like I said, it's like you're playing a video game and you take over the body of the main character to play the game. That's what they do with us. They treat us like we're characters in a video game.
So, in a way, is a TI can be manipulated by these things. There just needs to be. See, for me, it all makes sense. To you, it makes sense. But the scientific community, there's just not enough research into stuff like this. Like the scientific community will call this dust particle. They will call it flying dust.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like
absolutely.
they have the money, they have the resources to do research, but yet they're the one that are denying any further research into this type of phenomenon.
Yeah, but I mean, it's because a lot of them are a part of it.
Meaning, a lot of time they have. I think everybody's got these things hanging out inside their ears.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So this is one video I think is important to show the community, and I think you kind of already have an idea of what direction I'm heading towards, and I'm glad you're one of the person that actually understands this type of stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, like it's all in the Bible, right? Like, but the only thing is you gotta read between the lines. Like I know for sure that people die and then they come back here again over and over and over again. They make deals with the devil so that they can live a life again. And if you don't, then you just come back as like an unclean spirit.
You know
So that's
what's
what
my
he.
gang stalkers? You know what my gang stalkers sometimes try to tell me
Hmm.
that they have the ability. Let's just put it into perspective. Let's just say a person when they pass away, they become one of these things. Okay, a spirit.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
they have the
Yeah. So
ability. Did you know? If you think about it, it's kind of cruel because these things are flying around, right? They
yeah.
can get trapped in buildings. They can get trapped in containers like a box. Imagine you open a box of cereals. I mean, these things can fly into your box of cereals and get trapped in there. You can
Yeah.
open the lid and close it. They can fly in there and get trapped in there. You can flush the toilet and they can fly in there. Like, I know it sounds crazy strange. Like, these things could get trapped at anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, yeah.
that
That
makes sense, right?
well, that would explain why you have houses that are like super haunted.
Yeah. And then there's like clearing houses, like go in there kind of. And I don't believe that these things can actually leaves the place of it. I believe the humans have really no power into getting them to leave. I guess the human can't talk sense into them to leave people alone, but in reality, they can stay there if they want to. Like they
Well,
see it as they were there before the humans.
I mean, what I do, like I've cast unclean spirits out of my own body by using uh, the directions that the Bible gave.
Okay, so they listen to your words. That's good. That's powerful.
Yeah, like I only heard voices once in my life. There were three of them all together at the same time, and I they were being annoying, and I was kind of bugging them, like kind of making like they were really sarcastic. They're like, oh yeah, like so I was sleeping and then I woke up to hearing them this one voice go, oh yeah, we're in now, we're in. Say hi to David, say hi to David, and the other two voices like, oh hi David, hey, how's it going, David? Hey, we're here. And then I'm like, okay. Right away I knew that they were like demons. And I'm like, I was watching some stuff about these demons and how they can change their voice to sound like Homer Simpson and stuff. So I'm like,
Oh
hey,
yeah.
change your voice for me. So the main one's like, okay, and then he's like, here, how does this sound? And he made it sound all echoey, like it was like he was using a computer or something. Even though I can hear him clear as day inside my head, like it was like perfectly clear voice. It wasn't like an hallucination. It sounded like I had earbuds in my ears, and I was talking on my phone, and and then I'm like, okay. And then I was about to start chatting with them more, and I heard this like thought. It sounded like a thought, like my own thought, but it was really quiet. And it said, "Don't play with them, just get rid of them." I'm like, okay, Father. And then the main voice is like, "Who are you talking to?" And the other one's like, "Yeah, who are you talking to, David?" And then I'm like, "Hey, you guys want to see something neat?" They're like, "Yeah, show something neat, show something neat." And then right away, I'm like, Father Yahweh, please, I'm sorry for everything I've done to allow these demons into me. I pray that you please get rid of them in Jesus' name, in Yahusha's name. I pray that you get rid of them. And then immediately they just went away. I never heard voices again.
Okay. Wow, that's very powerful.
Yeah.
So it worked for you. That's good, man. You should start a service like that in helping people.
Well, I mean, I didn't do anything. It wasn't me. It was the authority that was given to me through who they call Jesus. His real name is Yahusha. Through him dying, that was why he gave us the authority to trample over serpents and scorpions. Right. So that's what happened.
So you haven't heard any of those voices anymore?
Nope. That was the only time I've ever heard them. Never before that or after that.
Okay, so they went quiet on you. Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. They just went away. Never came back.
Do you think maybe somehow they're still there, but they just don't talk loud?
No, I don't think so. I think if they were, I could just do it again anyways.
Okay. Well, regardless, it's a positive outcome. I mean, you're able to get rid of the voices because that's for TIs that are getting these voices, it could be very difficult to deal with. A lot of them.
Yeah.
So, what do you have any like recommending like what passage or what phrases would you have to say specifically?
I'm not recommending any passages or places. I'm just more like recommending just knowing that as long as you are not in Satan's kingdom, you have the authority to tell them to go away. As long as you do it using the kingdom of God, like the real God. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
What do you mean by in Satan's kingdom? Like, what would that be considered?
So what we're dealing with, we're not dealing with flesh and blood. Like when everybody says like, "Oh, it's the government and blah blah blah." Sure, it's the people that work in the government, but they're a part of Satan's kingdom. Like it's all you're living in a world that's filled with a giant cult, like a one massive cult, and these people keep dying and coming back. And then so that's why you have children that gang stalk you too, and that can read your thoughts and things like that. It's because they've already made a deal with the devil in a past life, whether it was their last life or 1,000 lives ago. So that's what's happening. You're in a massive death cult that keeps on dying and coming back over and over and over again. So it's their Satan's kingdom. So they make a blood oath and a death oath, swearing never to tell anybody what's really going on. And the only way to know what's really going on is to pick up the Bible and read it. And then once you learn the language, uh, of what the Bible's really saying. Once you learn like a mountain in the Bible is really an unclean spirit, so then you understand, okay, so if an unclean spirit is referenced as a mountain in the Bible, and Jesus says that if you just have the faith of a grain, like a mustard seed, you'd be able to tell a mountain to move from there to there, and it would do it. He's saying to you that if you told an unclean spirit to go from here to over there, it would have to do it because you had the faith to do it. So once you learn the language, you learn the rules. And once you learn the rules, you learn that you have the ultimate power. And once you have the ultimate power, you have all the authority. And once you have all of that, you realize you have the grace of God protecting you. And through that, then it's just stupid, a stupid game of them like seeing if they can call your bluff and trying to act stronger and more scary than you. But at the end of the day, the truth is, we have all the power. As long as you don't join Satan's kingdom, you have all the power and control and
Mhm.
authority, and there's nothing to fear.
And I have learned to add to that. In order to get to where you are, they also have to come with experience. Like things need to happen to you, and for you to experience those things to overcome it, to have an understanding of, for instance, like you said, the Bible. Because a lot of people, read the Bible and they don't understand the stuff in it because they haven't had the experience to for them to
Yeah,
make
and
sense.
and it's designed in such a way where it's not for everybody. Like not everyone is going to understand what the Bible means because they haven't done certain things, which is really the main thing is to humble yourself and just admit that like you're a mess. You're not no matter how good of a person you think you are, you're not good. Like I'm not a good person. I'm a terrible person. I am.
Why
And
do
I
you say
know
that?
because I am. I'm a terrible person. I have horrible thoughts, like really bad intrusive thoughts sometimes. I have um I had really perverse fetishes, things like that. I still suffer from drinking too much, things like that. I gossip, I slander sometimes. Like it's not good stuff, especially considering I live in a world that where people can hear what you're thinking and they know the shit that you say, right? So it's kind of rough, like, because I was raised to believe that the world, there was no God and there was no spirits and there was none of this stuff, and that it was silly to think that. But the truth is they all hid it from us because they have to, because that's one of the rules for them to continue to come back to earth, is they have to pretend like it doesn't exist so that they can get us trapped in the same situation that they're in. It's like crabs in a bucket. You don't have to put a lid over the top of a bucket of crabs, because once one's about to escape, another one will just reach up and pull it back down. That's what we're in. We're in a crab of buckets, or sorry, a bucket of crabs. I mean, so that's what's going on.
Oh
So
yeah.
they're all in this horrible situation, and but they can't tell us about it, because if they do, then they're not allowed to come back here after they die. They'll probably get killed in a horrible way, and then just be stuck as one of those spirits that you see on your camera right there. So that's what's happening. They take blood oaths and they're not allowed to talk about it. So I've
Hey,
just been,
David,
yeah,
I have another person coming in. Let me add to the stream.
sure.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
peace be unto you both. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah.
Cool,
Yep.
cool. Peace be unto you all. My name is Ibn Malcolm. I don't like using the word target, but I'm kind of like a target from Michigan, and been listening to your content off and on for the last year, and been enjoying some of the things I've been hearing. So I'm just kind of listening in.
Nice.
Okay, cool. Thank you for joining. I'm gonna have to like the reason I set the screen like this is because I had some bad guests before, and I just want to make since I never seen your ID, your name before, so I just want to do it this way. So I hope
Oh,
you guys don't mind.
it's all good.
So do you have how's your situation? Are you dealing with gang stalkers? Are you gang stalking?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would describe it that as such, but I think that it's definitely a lot more deeper than that, and you know, it seems like the people who have the closest access to me, like, I'm inclined to think that they are the ones that are mainly doing it, you know,
Like your family?
and I really hate to I hate to say it, but I mean, the only reason why I would assume some family, because even coworkers and like anyone who frequents my presence, I sometimes get the notion that there's some kind of, at the very least, there. And I like how you put it in one of your videos that it's almost like a lower frequency um, suggestions to me that may be getting me to get paranoid or whatnot. But I know I'm actually a Muslim, and one of the last chapters of the Quran, it talks about or there's like a prayer for against like the whisper of the devil and the whisper of those who would whisper and then like withdraw themselves. So like that's why I'm kind of thinking like it may be people that are close to me, and they may have some knowledge about what I'm going through, and they may be hitting me with some lower frequency suggestions.
Well, let me tell you,
But
they're definitely hitting you with that stuff. And I don't know if you watched my last live stream where I talked about how first there's a trigger, okay? For instance, like the siren. You know,
uh-huh.
you can't prevent when the sirens go off, right? Because sirens just emergency, the vehicle goes through, then comes through. But for a lot of TIs, when they hear the
Yeah.
siren, what happens is suddenly they're focused. Okay, if you're one of the TI that buys into the sirens stalking you, your focus
Uh-huh.
is directed to the siren. And then the next immediate thought, okay, your next thought, right away, your next thought after you put your focus on the siren, it's referencing to gang stalking. Okay. You might not hear, you don't hear another voice telling you, oh,
Yeah.
siren is gang stalker, but it's like a thought, like a feeling you just get. Okay. And it's directing you to gang stalking. And that's what a lot of the community people are hold on one second, I got incoming call. That's what a lot of community people are going through right now. Like, do you
Mhm.
recognize these thought patterns that comes in?
A little bit. I think I've been going through this since I want to say like 2018 or 2017, where like I was just bombarded with the stalking type stuff, and but so like I'm kind of like, I don't want to use the word graduated, but like I don't really, it's not really a gang stalking thing to me anymore. I know that I'm not perfect, but I know that I'm blessed to do certain practices. So, my vibration could possibly be different from most people in my community slash or even on earth. So I just try to make sure that I keep peaceful, try to maintain peaceful thoughts. I get a lot of the, like you mentioned, the sirens. um, I get a lot of flyovers. However, I'm located between two airports, so I be having to block that out, and try not to cuss out the airplanes, or even if it's in my mind, like, and I'm just trying to like vibe higher and do more to get the angel on the right to be writing more, not the angel on the left to be so busy. Because I feel like a lot of the quote unquote stalkers are trying to get my angel on the left busy with writing to pull me from where I'm trying to go. You know.
It is kind of like that. It is kind of like you have good thoughts and you have bad thought on one side, good thought on the other side. And does the sirens bother you?
Not anymore, because it happened so much that I just became kind of numb to, or just I'm just used to it,
Okay,
so it
good.
doesn't. But I do feel like, whether it be sirens or like loud sounds, that like there may be, I don't know if it's Wi-Fi amplifiers or whatever it is, that these energies can be like, I feel them even more.
Okay. Well, because I always, tell the community that these things are always next to you and they're always there. That's how they know your every move. That's how they know what you're going through. That's how they know your thought process. That's how they know everything about you and always one step ahead of you. It's because they're literally next to you all the time, even when you sleep. When you sleep, they especially messes with your dreams. Okay. Now I've gotten to a point
Hmm.
where I feel like a lot of my dreams are just they're not they're artificial. And
Yes.
the sequence of events happening, it just makes no sense. It's like they're testing me in my dream to see what I'll do. And one thing that my gang stalker would through lower voices call would tell me that, oh, they like the fact that I'm not scared. And
Right.
in my dreams, I have gotten many things happening. Okay, in dreams where I have been kidnapped, put into a room where there's no windows. Somehow, I remember one time I looked up and there was a one of those skylight window right above where I was, tied down, and I was able to get
Mhm.
myself out of the chair and able to climb myself up and out of it, out of the room, and I was on a grassy area, and then there was people using copper bullets and copper guns shooting at me as I'm running around dodging bullets. And there were times when I'm driving a car in my dreams, and I was able to teleport with the car back onto the road. Like I'm about to go into a ditch or go off, and then I was able to teleport the entire car with the car and keep on driving. Like there's situations like that, which it makes zero sense, and it's now I've realized it's very artificial. A lot of these dreams, and it's because these gang stalkers can mess with
Mhm.
us when we're sleeping.
Yes, yes. I would say that I felt, I don't know if it's dream manipulation or something of the sorts myself, and I would ask you, like, do you feel like this is happening more like at a higher frequency over the past maybe couple of months or so?
Could you explain?
Like, do you, like, for example, me, I dream multiple times a night. I have a condition where I need to get up and use the bathroom sometimes it's every hour. So I'll go back to sleep, dream, then wake up. Like, so I'm dreaming multiple times a night. And I feel like there's been an uptick in my weird dreams, or my the dreams that seem like something is different, or something isn't quite right.
Well,
So I'm asking
we do
if you
dream.
felt that more recently.
Well, let me tell you, as soon as you lie down and go to sleep, you start dreaming. It's just a lot of the times, if you don't, even if you don't wake up in the middle of the night, you only remember the very little amount of dreams right before you wake up. But let me tell you, as soon as you go to sleep, you start dreaming. Like, and you gotta pay attention to your thoughts because when you're falling into sleep, you gotta. They like to throw in certain thought pattern and make you think about certain things, and then those thoughts gonna lead right into the dreams. So if you can
Mhm.
recognize your thought process before you fall asleep, I mean, in a way, it kind of you can change it, or you can try to have your own thought process, think about something different than what they lead you into. You can try that method, but the reason you keep waking up and you go to, use the bathroom and you remember you've been dreaming is because usually that's what we remember right before we wake up. We remember the dreams. So, but for anyone, let's see if they start dreaming.
Yeah, I mean, I would
So,
say
are your
that,
dreams
like,
like
I mean,
really
I've
bad?
had um, not for the most part. However, I mean, I did have a dream within the past month that, like, like it was a test for me. It definitely like shook me, but as a Muslim, we're taught to not mention our dreams, and like basically like the devil is playing with you if you have a bad dream. So you shouldn't like inform people about how the devil was playing with you. And we're taught to like pray, to spit to the left 3 times and pray if you wake up. Basically seek refuge with the creator from the devil when you wake up from one of those. So, but yeah, I definitely had some dreams that were like that were definitely like I'll never forget them. And like I said,
Okay.
my dreams, I don't say I remember all of them, but I remember, I definitely remember them when I wake up. And like I said, some of them are kind of like you said, it seems like something is trying to see what I'm scared of. That's the
Yeah.
feeling that I'm getting.
And I may mention before, when you're awake, like now, you're go about doing your stuff.
Uh-huh.
If you let the gang stalker scare you, they're gonna definitely mess with you in your dreams. Like it, your entire spirit, your person, yourself, carry over in your dream, and that's who you're really gonna be playing. And they like to test how you handle your situation. That's at least based on my experience. I mean, I'm sure it's different for other people, but for me, it's like they like to test my character. They like to put me through these different situations and see how I will handle these situations. So they definitely done their share of harming me by putting me in a situation of kidnapping me. There was one dream where there were bear traps everywhere, and I remember I'm tiptoeing carefully, trying to maneuver through all these bear traps. And these bear traps were gigantic. Like they'll actually, if they go off, it'll take over half of a person's body. That's how big these bear traps are. It's not just like your legs, your foot. It's like half of your body. So these are definitely really wicked bear traps. And I remember I was maneuvering through the area, tiptoeing, trying to bypass all the bear traps. So I would get dreams like that, just as an example. But what do you have any experience on that, David?
I just, yeah, like what I notice is like if I'm if I refuse to watch pornography or masturbate anymore, suddenly I start having dreams of, you know, beautiful women trying to have sex with me, things like that. Just stuff to entice you to continue down the path that you were originally on, that you're trying to get off of. It's all based off of trying to keep you at like a lower mind level, lower vibration. They don't want you to get up higher, and to get up higher, you have to follow the light, and the light is the truth, and the truth is actually God's law. So if you'll notice that if you start doing things that are in God's laws, you'll start having things come at you in your dreams that try to bring you back to the way you were when you weren't following those laws. That's what's going on.
And I want to add to that. One, I think a very important thing is they like to test the way we think. So they like to know how we think and how, and our thoughts really just shows exactly what type of person we are, the way we think. If we have a lot of evil thoughts, if you recognize that, you should really practice minimizing it.
Mm-hmm.
And one difference is I learned is they can guide us into starting a thought process. Like they can direct us towards a thought process. Like I haven't figured out a way to block it. So if they want to send me an evil thought, I don't know how to block it. But I do have the ability to stop thinking into it. So
Yeah.
so that's like the quality of your thoughts is very important as well. And I don't know, I can't speak for other TIs, but I would imagine a lot of other TIs are constantly get bombarded with these fearful thoughts. And a lot of TIs I would say are bought into these fearful thoughts, of these gang stalking. And who knows what that will lead them into thinking about.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
So
Yeah, it's all based off of thoughts, right? If your thoughts
Yeah,
become your
it have
personality.
you thinking about like murder.
yeah, that will say a lot about you. Yeah. So I would say that's a lot. Really, a lot of TIs don't understand
Both of
on
you
that.
say like, to aspire for weapons, my big
You're
Wait, what was
breaking
that?
up, man. We lost
Hello?
him. Yeah, we lost him. He's sounded like he was driving. He's probably in the middle of nowhere right now.
Yeah. But yeah,
time,
he mentioned about
and
murdering
that's
thoughts and suicidal thoughts. Like, I don't know. Do you get suicidal thought, David?
No, not anymore. When it first started happening, um, shit, no, not even then. No, I don't. Before this started happening, I used to have suicidal thoughts, but once it started happening, then I realized that everything in the Bible was real, and then my faith grew.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
now I
you
don't
got
have
some
those
natural
thoughts.
defense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you read on other TIs or in the forum that a lot of TIs out there are receiving suicidal thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And I just hope those TIs, when they receive those thoughts, they know how to stop themselves and actually change those thoughts and don't think into it.
Well,
Because
yeah, I mean, one way is no matter how bad things have gotten in your life, you're still here, which means you've managed to survive and overcome every single situation that you've ever had. Every bad day you've ever had, you've beaten it, which means you've got 100% success rate right now. So why would you break that because you're having another bad day? That doesn't make sense. You've won every single other time, so you're probably going to win this time too.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing that a lot of TIs don't understand. See, you understand. I'm sure a handful of TIs understand, but and that have a lot to have to do with experience and what they learned in their throughout their lifetime.
Yeah, with me, it has to do with faith. I just have faith that I'm going to make it another day, that God is real, that I'm protected, and that He tells me what's going on, and that He informs me of the truth of the situation. And I know that.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good to have a TI on here that actually also understand a lot of these things. Um,
Well, we're living in a world where there's a lot of fake TIs,
well,
right?
you
You
know
got
me, I believe everyone's a TI. That's what I believe.
well,
But a
I
lot
think
of TIs
there's a
don't
lot
understand.
of people that come out and they make videos to make us look insane, right? And those are the ones that are like, oh, it's the government, it's always the government, and oh, it's my house is bugged. It's like they don't need to bug your house. They got ghosts watching you all the time that just relay the messages to the ghosts inside their bodies to tell them what you're doing anyway. They don't need to use technology. It costs more money. It's free to use spirits.
Yeah, that's one thing. It never stuck to me,
Mhm.
But you have to agree, though. We all kind of went through that phase. That's how all TI starts, right? Kind of similar situations.
Oh, well, I mean, I immediately picked up on the fact that it was a spiritual thing because they did everything in their power to make me believe that it was everything other than a spiritual battle. They tried so hard to make me believe that it was technology. So if they're pushing you to one agenda, what are the odds, right? They're going to try to lead you down the wrong path, obviously. And the only path that gives you any form of power or control is the one that gives you the ultimate power and control, and that's God. Once you realize you're a child of God and that you were born into a world where people keep getting born again over and over and over again, and they're all a part of this gigantic satanic cult, you realize that the Bible's real. And if the Bible's real, then that means that everything that the Bible says is real. And if everything that the Bible says is real, that you have the ultimate authority over all of these unclean spirits, and that one day you will even judge angels, that means that you have nothing to fear at all. As long as you can keep your faith and do good things using your free will and not fall into the same trap. And when you do manage to mess up, which we all do, then you just ask for forgiveness and you really mean it. And you go on living life trying to be the best person you can be and giving glory to God, and that's it. And as long as you can do all of that, well, your life's great because they're all just trying to pull you down into the pit with them. They're all trying to lead you down a path with lies and smiles and oh, everything's fine. It's okay to be like this. It's okay to be like that. But really, they're taking you into the furnace with them.
Wow, that's some
Hmm.
deep information right there.
Yeah.
And how can a TI get to where you are, or get to where we are?
They can realize that they have absolutely no control over the situation and that they are not big and powerful, that they're really weak, and that everything that you have been given, all the protection that you've been given has been given to you by the Most High God. And you need to break down, cry, and call out to him and just apologize and say, listen, I don't know what's going on, but you have said that anyone who asks for wisdom, you'll give it to them freely and abundantly. So I'm asking for that. Teach me, show me, allow me to help other people. And then through that, he'll tear you down and he'll build you up properly.
Okay, that that's. I mean, it doesn't hurt to try that, right?
No, of
And
course not.
and I'm sure it's more positive than anything. And whenever you have these positive empowerment, like for your own spirit, it can hurt you,
Hmm.
and that's what all TIs should do. But a lot of TIs are just not. They don't buy into this stuff.
Of course not,
And
because they've been fed that it's all technology in the government, and they've been blacklisted, and people are watching them because it's citizens on patrol and whatever. It's just Satan. It's just satanic people watching non-Satanists and trying to mess with them because you wouldn't kill a baby for $10 million, but these people that stalk you, they would kill a baby for $10 million. That's what separates us. So by them getting you to do things that they do, right, getting you to sin, um, proves them right. But if you don't do anything bad, it proves them wrong, and it proves God right.
you brought up a good point. I learned that one of their major power is to influence the TI to do things.
Yeah,
Like
and it's never good.
they don't get their hands dirty, but they'll influence the TI to get the TI's hands dirty.
Yeah, because it makes them like, see, I told you it's not just me that does this bad stuff. Look at this guy. He's not even a Satanist like me, but he's doing it too. It's a way of like, pointing their finger at God and being like, see, told you it's not just me, it's your people too.
But want to know something? One thing that don't get talked about is when the people commit the sin, they had no idea they were manipulated in their thought process by another entity to make them do these things.
Yeah,
So in a way, it's like that entities that manipulated the human's thoughts, they get away because the human itself didn't realize they were manipulated.
exactly.
So as soon as the human recognized that they were being manipulated,
They can stop it.
and who's the one causing all these sin on people, make people do?
Mm-hmm.
It's the evil.
Yep.
And so far, the evil has been getting away because people have no idea that their minds are manipulated by these things.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like us TIs are the ones to really bring light into this topic.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be bringing light to the world.
And it's like, when you think of it like that, it's such a big task, right? But
yeah,
if
but
you
what else
chip
are we
at it
doing?
a little at a time, it's not really that big of a task.
Yeah, it's, hey, I mean, what else do we got to do? Nothing else, right?
In a way, it's kind of like, like people have attempted to do this in the past, like, let's say like gatherings, like churches or what do they call for the Muslim people when they gather?
The mosque,
The mosque.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
masjid.
So what's fascinating to me is, there are many attempts into gathering people to do, light work, do good work, right, for people.
Mm-hmm.
But throughout generation, people itself would become vulnerable because each person are listening to these evil thoughts, and not every person listening to it are capable of rejecting these negative thoughts. So over time, a lot of these people are in these organizations, in these places, they themselves are being controlled by evil thoughts. So it's like, how can we go about and changing, society in a way where people can actually recognize these evil thoughts? I mean, it's one of those things that needs to be permanent and able to allow people the defensive skills.
Yeah. Well, what you really need to realize is that people like you are rare. There's probably, like, you're at the end of, like, according to the Bible, we're in the last days, which means most people they've already been chipped, they've already been microchipped, they already have the mark of the beast. There's like maybe there's 1 million of us left right now, maybe. So everybody around us, they all know who we are, all of them. It's like the Truman Show. They all know who we are. They're all a part of it, and they all pretend like they're not, and they're not allowed to tell us because they made a death oath. And if they do spill the beans, then they die.
Yeah,
So that's it.
it sounds kind of cool, but then again, it is sad, to know there's very few people, but then again, if we get our power together, we have the same agenda. I'm sure we can make a change for the world.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what you do every time you come online. You are making a difference. There are the few of us that find you, and then we start to communicate. And Jesus says, like, his real name's Yahusha, but he says that where 2 or more of my people are gathered, there I am in the midst of them. So when we're doing this, he's right here watching.
He's right in the middle listening, huh? And
Yeah, paying attention, making sure, guiding us, directing our conversation so that the other people that are listening can hear it too.
that's very true.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sadly to say though, I feel like lately maybe the way my content's going, a lot of TI, very few, like an average Joe, he's always here, like you're always here. I don't know if anyone else is always here, but maybe never made a comment.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels like the number of people has really been screened out now. Like people are really been being screened out, and who's who and who's really, buying to it and who's not.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, there's I bet you out of every 10 TIs, probably out of every 50 TIs, only one of them is real.
Do you think it's possible for us to save them?
The real ones, I think it's possible for us to lead them to the correct path.
And that also have to do with experience. What if how can we lead them if they never experience a certain thing in their lifetime to make sense of all this?
Well, you're planting seeds every time you go on YouTube, you're planting seeds and you're showing them. So even if it's not something they experience now, one day when they do experience it, their mind will be brought back to one of your streams, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, he talked about this situation," and then they'll realize, okay, he's fine. He went through it. He's still here making videos. That means I'll be fine too, as long as I don't fall for the trap and do what these voices tell me to do, that kind of thing, right? So what you're doing now
Yeah,
is you're helping them in the future.
that's a great way. You put it that way, and it is planting seeds. And there's always two sides working, right? There's the good and the evil working, right?
Yeah,
So in a way, it's these type of information also helps the good side to have more ways to help the target individual.
yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of all this? Is it Ivan?
Ibn, Ibn.
Ibn. Sorry
Um,
about that.
you know, no, it's all to the good, man. You know, I think that like what's going on is definitely there's some satanic things going on, and the opposite of this of satanic is the worship of the creator and doing things that bear in testimony to that. And so you know me personally, I'm a Muslim, but I've also read and had some study in the Bible, and I can say that if people can be led to believe this stuff as much as to actually put the time in to study it, those are all the laws. That's our protection, the guidance. If we follow the guidance, then we can, what I'm saying, ourselves, we can succeed and hopefully propagate that to the whole world. Because I mean, I call myself an eschatologist. I've been studying the signs of the day of resurrection for about 10 years or more. I encourage everybody, those who like will listen to like Nostradamus's prophecies concerning some of the things that may go on. And I would encourage people to listen to the Prophet Muhammad. Jesus also said a lot of things concerning these days that no one wants to talk about in honesty, but the Prophet Muhammad, peace be on him, he said a lot of things, and this where we're living, and we have to hold on tight. You talked about us getting suicidal suggestions target. They are the ones that are being targeted with suicidal, not only suicidal thoughts, but they're doing it at a high rate. It's one of the leading causes of death in this country, suicide. So,
Hmm.
you know what
Yep.
I'm saying? And religion has laws against that. We really have to propagate it to people in a way that they hopefully they don't run away from it. And if they do, then like I said, hopefully we're blessed to be able to explain it, and we are just warners. And yet we are we're giving glad tidings to those who do good and follow the law.
Yeah.
You know, you're you brought up a good point. It's like when it comes to suicide, a lot of people they wouldn't touch this subject, of these entities out there, right? Have the ability to do this to people, manipulate people's thoughts.
Hmm.
We call them skeptics, right? it's like that is a major battle to be able to get the skeptics to open up, their mind and actually really kind of research into this topic. Because I feel like, the authority is in the scientific community, and the scientific community already don't see this as taboo. They don't want to get involved with this stuff. Any scientist who wants to get in on this, their colleagues going to make fun of them. It's going to, not be a good look on them. So it's like, how can us really break through that? And this is so experience based, because I'm sure there are scientists out there who never thought this was real, and only until they experience it, then they start believing it's real. But it's such experience based. It's like, how can we get them to break out of it? Get the society to break out of it. Because if you want to go on YouTube and look for paranormal, videos, there's plenty of them. I realize that even for people to see these type of videos, as soon as they see it, they might feel like, oh wow, they have no answer for it. But as soon as they stop watching those videos, their thought process already changed to something else, and they wouldn't think about it again because they're not experiencing it.
Yeah.
So it's like the videos are, but it's not really doing it to the people, because their mind is not on these type of topic. It doesn't do anything to them.
Hey, I have to go for a couple of minutes here. I gotta help one of my roommates with something real quick here. I'll be back in like 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, sure, David.
Awesome. Okay, I'll talk to you guys soon.
Yeah, so like I'm saying, it's like how to break out of that, that funk for society. And that's, a major question right now. And it seems like the society needs to know these things. I'm gonna go
Yeah,
through some of these
yeah,
comments.
and I think that they will.
Yeah, hope so. I mean,
Oh
let's
my
just
bad,
hope.
bro.
No, it's cool. Let's hope people will figure this out, because, like you said, suicide, people committing suicide, but they have no ideas. Those thoughts that they're getting is not from them. They're being guided and directed with these suicidal thoughts, and they just bought into them. And they're not trained to stop those
I
thoughts,
mean, I
because
was
it takes training to stop those thoughts.
well. One thing that I've looked at over the years, what I would call, although it's nothing new, but like a newer phenomenon of war. And where in the Middle East, like since 9/11, I don't know how many millions of people have been killed, and yet the U.S. On their side, and I'm sure other NATO countries may deal with this as well, is they have a lot of people who, I'm talking about, the suicide rate is so high for the veterans. What's going on? And if these people are committing murders and after murders after murders, then you may feel you may feel that tendency. You may feel that. And some people are sorry for what they've done, or they can't believe what they've done. You know what I'm saying? It's not just a military thing, but just in life in general.
You're right. And you know what?
So
One
yeah,
thing
it
that I
could be,
learned,
you can be suggested.
one thing I did learn is that, based on my gang stalking experience with my gang stalkers, our cell phones, okay, nowadays we have cell phones everywhere, right? Our cell phone,
Uh-huh.
based on what I know, they get energy from our cell phones. Like any electronic devices are energy source for them. And with the abundance of cell phones, and there's an increase of these phenomenons. I mean, if you look, I mean, they talk about how there's all these suicidal rates are going up, crimes are going up, and possessions too, like demonic possessions. Even though you believe it or not, it's going up. And in a way, that's people recognizing that something's wrong's happening. and that's why they would maybe go to their church or go to whoever they can for help, and talk about demonic possession. But these things are going up, and I believe it has a lot to do with electricity everywhere.
Yeah. I have a couple EMF readers, and you know, I would say yeah, the microwave oven is definitely booming off the charts. But like, what booms off the charts more than that are the cell phone. There's one even it like passes the
Hey, are you driving right now?
threshold.
Are you driving? Because you're going in and out of the live stream. Hello? Hello? Yeah, I can't hear you. You're going in and out. Maybe you're just driving in a bad cell reception area. If you want to try to reconnect, that'll be fine. But like he was saying about the live stream, um, like I was saying about the live stream, if he wants to get back on, that's fine. Hopefully he's in a better reception area. But the cell phone, I do believe the cell phone have a lot to do with it. There's just more cell phones everywhere. Electricities are everywhere, and based on my experience, the electricity definitely do something. I'm gonna read some of these comments. So then they are temporarily inhibiting people to turn into gang stalkers. Well, see, my definition of gang stalkers are not the people, but to be they do have the ability to manipulate people's mind. They have the ability to make a person do things, and then they would manipulate the TI's mind and make the TI synchronize with whatever that person's doing and think of them as gang stalkers. In my last live stream, I talked about how, you live in an apartment complex, you might have neighbors, and these gang stalkers can get into a TI's mind and they can get into your neighbor's mind. So they can actually synchronize by telling your neighbor, whatever's going on in your neighbor's mind, okay? Oh, take out the garbage. It's not like a voice telling them, it's more like a thought that comes into their mind. And they'll get triggered. Remember, okay, it's garbage day or whatever, got to take out the garbage. So your neighbor would get up and go grab the garbage. And as they're walking out of the apartment, the same gang stalkers can trigger your thought, the TI's thought process and trip you out and make you believe that, oh, maybe you probably already believe your neighbors are gang stalkers, or makes you to go to and look at the peephole of your door. And as you walk over there, you look through the peephole, that's when you see your neighbors walking by. Even though they're going out to throw garbage, but at the same time you're looking through the peephole, they walk by your peephole, the view, the frame of view. And that will reassure your mind into believing your neighbors are gang stalkers. So that's one example how the gang stalkers can manipulate people's mind into thinking a certain way. And then they can reinforce that thought by making the people around you do things that are quote unquote gang stalkers like. And this is happening on a daily basis. These gang stalkers can make your loved ones argue with you. They can make your loved ones bring up topics that makes you feel uncomfortable or don't want to talk about, or topics that the gang stalkers know it will get you to argue with your loved ones. And this happens on a daily basis. And it will happen more frequent if you're a TI and you don't recognize this. But once you recognize this, that's when these events will change. I think for most, you go through stages and continually grow as long as you don't give in to fear or their low vibrational state. Yeah, I do agree. It is like stages. Most TIs, go through similar stages. And these stages, some TI will grow out of it and other TIs will get stuck in it. And if you understand the no fear mentality, you will grow out of those stages. But fear is what really keeps the TI in those stages and not move forward throughout, the gang stalking process and the gang stalking phenomenon. Oh, hey, David, you're back.
Yeah. Hey.
So I'm reading the comments right now. You have to go through a surrender stage. Okay, what do you mean by surrender stage, an average Joe? Um, Maybe you can explain further. I have no lies. My channel shows videos of what I encounter just about daily. But thanks to Seventh Hanuman and others, I have been able to gain a new perspective. Well, thank you, an average Joe. And I have to say, okay, the TIs, no TIs are okay. I mean, maybe there's some that just unaware and they just want to spread certain information. But in general, I believe TIs are telling the truth based on their own perspective. And a lot of times these, it doesn't align with other TIs, and some of these TIs will get manipulated to believe the other people that don't align with their stories are perps. That's really the bottom line. But I truly believe that, TIs are at most, at best, are telling the truth based on their own experience.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you agree with that, David?
Well, I think I think that there are um, satanic forces at play here, and that there are many people that are part of the satanic kingdom, and that they are designed and told to pretend to be us in order to make us look nuts. And I do believe that there are some people that are just so horribly oppressed by these unclean spirits and by like ghosts that they don't have to try to make us look crazy. They are really being affected and being targeted by evil forces, but they have no foundation to go on with it, so they're just tormented and they have no idea what's going on. I do believe that those do exist.
Oh yeah, the foundation. Go back to life experience and
Yeah.
what you've gone through in life. Those
Yeah.
foundation are key. They are key to how you're gonna play
Yeah.
out this phenomenon.
Yeah, like
And
if this happened, if this started happening to me, and there was no form of internet, and I couldn't have, like, the way I found out what was happening to me is I noticed things were happening, and I looked up the symptoms, and right away came to gang stalking. If that didn't exist, you know what I mean? This kind of information would be withheld from the public library. So, like, imagine going through this 100 years ago. You would be completely screwed. They would think you're insane, and they would just throw you in a nut house.
exactly. And
Hmm.
and this is so it the experience itself, it makes everything when it comes to this, to a believer or non-believer.
Yeah.
And for majority of people, they have not encountered anything like this, so they're non-believers. And to
Yeah.
convince them to believe, it's that's if we could figure that out, if we could figure
Yeah.
out an easy, simple way to convince the non-believer to at least, you know, to kind of have an interest in believing, or want to know more, I think
Yeah.
that's already a good start.
Yeah. Well, it's like I told that nerve gorilla. People only know what they know, but they have no idea. They don't know at all what they don't know. They have no clue the things that they don't know. They have no idea. So, so for you and me and the other gentleman, our reality is completely different than somebody who's never experienced it. Like if I lived 36 years of my life without ever knowing the truth of the world, and seeing the dark underbelly, and then I saw it at 36 years old, and suddenly I was introduced to a new world. And but it's not like it just suddenly happened. That world was there all along. They just hid it from me for 36 years, which means how are you supposed to tell somebody, you know that's been alive for 50 years and never experienced anything like that, they would just say, well, that's not how reality is. But he's right. That's not how reality is for him. And that's not how it was for me for 36 years. But that's how it is now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
So you can't teach them. All you can do is point them to some type of a religion or a spiritual foundation and hope that they dive in deep enough into it that they can see the truth for what it is. That's all you can do is point them to some type of a religion or spirituality and hope that it rings true to them. They're like, holy shit, these guys are telling the truth.
yeah, and that will only happen once they have certain experience.
Right, but that's where a religion comes into play. Because if you could teach somebody from birth the truth of the world, they would believe you no matter what, because you're their prime influence, right? If you're the prime influence on on a being that's born into this world, if they only had, let's say you had a baby and you lived out in the middle of nowhere, and this baby grew up to be a man or a woman but only learned everything from you and their mom, and you told them the truth of the world, and you warned them like, hey, when you run into these people, some of them are going to have these spirits in them that you and me don't have, and they're going to try to trick you, and there's going to be millions of them, and they're all going to tell you that, we're crazy and that it's not like that, and they're going to try everything they can to prove to you that what we're saying is wrong, but you have to have faith because of the beliefs that I've taught you about God and this and that. And if their foundation is strong enough, then they'll see the lies that come from these people. But that's what it takes. Honestly, unfortunately, it takes a religious doctrine to see past it, or else it takes experience and going through the fire like we did. Because I was an atheist before this all happened.
I see.
Hmm.
We have a new person, Unstoppable DNA. Hello?
Hi,
Hello?
I'm just setting up my camera right now.
Wow, what do you know? Wow, where have you been?
Yeah, well, sometimes you have to disappear in order to become successful.
Wow, I'm glad that you're back. It's good to hear your voice again.
All right, well, I'm just setting up my camera. I heard you guys can go ahead and talk. I'm listening. I'm here.
David,
Hello.
I'm sure you know.
He's right though. He's talking about spirituality and how gang stalking gets you closer to God or higher self or understanding life on a more spiritual level, right?
Yeah.
True. It does. It definitely does.
Yeah.
And do you think this is all part of the you know how they say the age of Aquarius and how we're all supposed to be awakened and higher with higher intelligence and higher connection to the divine, the higher
Yeah,
powers? Do you
they're
think this is all part of
coming
it?
in. It's called a great awakening, a great tribulation, the second coming of Christ. You are the second coming. Your knowledge that you're getting, all the spiritual stuff, that is the second coming.
Hmm.
Hmm. David, you know TNT Storm, right? DNA. Um,
No, I don't. I don't actually.
but you've seen her videos in the past, right?
I don't think so. But hey, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's very knowledgeable and she knows a lot of stuff on this topic. Um, I enjoy her videos, but the TI community, a lot of TIs they're not there and they don't really understand the information that she shares. So, but I understand she knows a lot, so I enjoy her videos. But
Nice.
I'm glad that she's back now because she was away for a while, and there are people that join my live stream or comment in my live stream asking where she's been, where she's at, and I have no idea.
Oh,
So,
wow.
I mean, if she wants to tell us, what she's been doing the past 6 months or so, that'd be great. I would like to know. But if she doesn't want to, it's all good. And it's good to hear your
I've
voice again.
been I've been improving myself in my own space. I had to move properties, sell vehicles to get a larger piece of property, right? And all
Oh,
that.
you bought a lot of land, a piece of land.
Well, I leased 2 acres
Okay.
for a year or two.
Okay.
Nice.
But yeah, I had to make drastic changes in my life. So it's better just to just make the changes and get yourself situated and then come back and focus on other things. You don't want to focus on too many things. And plus, sometimes you need a break from all this. I noticed that you cut down on live streams. I think you only go live like once a month now.
Yeah, I try to do it once a week, but I really, all of my information I kind of already shared with the public, and I only got one more video to go in my series, and that's what I'm gonna do. And after that, I'm just gonna support that whole theory. So I'm gonna go that direction.
Well, what the hell? I mean, we better stay in contact.
Oh yeah, I'll be here. I mean, I'll make live stream.
Well, I had a lot of trolls. I had a lot of people that just wanted to destroy. So I had to start other platforms, and I had a lot of people that hate me.
You do have a lot of trolls that are just there to disrupt
slow me down.
Your flow.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
And I mean, it just seems to happen in the community. I guess a lot of people just don't like what we're talking about and don't like what information we spread. And a lot of these trolls, they're actually being manipulated by their own entities too, their own gang stalkers, but they don't realize it.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
But I wasn't the easiest teacher either.
Yeah, you were quite strict. Like you had no problem speaking your own
I was
mind.
pretty hard on them. Yeah.
And so are you doing okay? Like any
No, I've been better. Well, no, I'm better than I ever have been.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm better than I've ever been right now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, that's good, right? So when you're at your best spot, most comfortable space you've ever been in, then I did the right thing by getting off of I just took a break for a while you just do to become successful. You just disappear for a while. It got old. It gets old. I have to change myself because I had to change my teaching style. I can't cuss that much anymore.
Exactly.
The FBI has a list of words that they're now scanning people for, and I had to change a lot.
I mean, the stop cussing part, I agree with that. I try to not cuss at all. And the cussing part would definitely not be a good thing for the algorithm. And I think the YouTube algorithm, it's a lot smarter than ever. I'm sure it incorporate some type of AI technology in there because it shows transcript. So just by the power of showing transcript throughout the, for the entire live stream, they can just scan out words, so I try to not cuss at all.
Yeah.
So smart. I've changed my attitude and things like that too.
So will you be making videos? Will you be making more videos from now on?
Oh, I still spoke on several new platforms. I'm still speaking. I never stopped speaking. I just got rid of the community. I changed communities.
Hey, guys, I gotta go for the night, but it was
Well,
it was really.
I got on here because of you. I'm sorry, I'm stealing your show.
No, it's totally fine. I got stuff to do before I go to bed. I gotta wake up for work at like 5:30 in the morning. So
you gotta take care of yourself more. Give yourself more time for you time.
Yeah. But it was nice meeting you, and hey, it's always good talking to you, old friend.
Well, you're right about stuff. Just to let you know.
Yeah, David. Hey, you have a good night. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, take care. Bye bye.
Right, you too. Bye.
Yeah, sorry about that. I kind of kicked him off, but he needed to go to bed anyways.
Yeah, I think he lives in the East. He lives in the East Coast, so it's like it's late. It's like
bedtime. But I've been listening to you for a while. I've been watching your show I still watch your show.
Oh wow, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I've just been incognito. You just haven't seen me, but I'm watching. I saw those clips you made. of all the little where you're going through all the little films. I guess you just clicked on a bunch of videos.
Oh, you're talking about the last few live stream.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, what platform are you on now? I mean, if you don't mind sharing, it's up to you.
No, I'm not sharing any of my speaking platforms right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are
I
you
keep
going to
them all
be
private. Yeah.
you going to be uploading on YouTube, or are you done with YouTube?
I have several different accounts that I upload to.
Oh, okay. All
Like
right.
I said, I just got rid of all the old accounts and started new accounts.
Okay.
To
Well,
get
I
a
mean,
new I want a new I gotta it's to get a new perspective. You know what I
what do
mean?
you mean? What kind of new perspective are you talking about?
I had to get rid of the platform I had to get another perspective of what's going on.
Mm. You feel like too many people were messing with you, huh? And kind of like you just want to get rid of all of them
Well,
all at
there
one time.
was that, but there was also it ran its course to where there was nothing to teach. I had, 5 good guys that were listening. There was nothing more I could give them. I gave them everything I could. I gave them a lot, and they took the knowledge, and a lot of them are out doing a lot better.
I always enjoy watching your videos, and it's more advanced stuff, and a lot of people just don't understand it. But I mean, I know
It
there's
was too, right. That's why it reached its peak and it needed to get torn down. And then I have to change as a teacher. I have to change my style because I pushed that group to its limit, to its absolute limit to where they couldn't process any more information. And then I had to
and
go.
and well, you got to do what you got to do, and I'm glad you're back now.
I
I
think
hope
I
you're
did it
back.
for the people though. I think I did it for them. I thought I was doing it for them. And me, I guess, because it pushed everyone, a lot of the students or whatever, the followers, it pushed them to start their own platforms, and most of them did.
And I think people should start their own platform. That's what a lot of TIs they don't do is I guess have to do with your drive and your how much you want out of this. And a lot of TIs are still just trying to figure out what's going on. For the ones that kind of have an understanding, they should definitely have their own platform. I mean, that's how I see it. And you got a good platform, but you got to, like you say, you got to go through your stuff. And I hope you figured it out. And it's good to see you again. So I'm gonna talk about some of these comments. Oh yeah, the surrender stage. I want to know more about that. And this is a nice comment. Thank you, on average Joe. The scientific community is very secretive. Um, I I mean, they definitely have their own process to peer review, even to select certain topics to be peer reviewed. If you go to the those scientific journals or magazines, the popular ones, they have a whole process. Even if you have an article, right? You have an article you want to be published. There's a whole process where they have to screen through it. The editor have to be okay with it before it goes to peer reviewed, and even then, it's going to be you know tested, or it's going to be reviewed by all these other top scientists in the field, and they're going to tell you what's good and what's not good. And even then, it's like your journal might not get selected. Oh, hey, should I call you TNT or DNA? Well, what do you want? Oh, I think you're muted.
Oh, yeah, you can call me whatever. Either one.
Okay.
Yeah. I just want to
It's
show
nice.
my face so I can say hi to you real quick because I haven't seen
Oh,
you since.
thank you. Thank you. I kind of thought about, start showing myself too in live stream, want to do outside live stream, but it's good that you take the initiative.
Yeah,
Um,
so I'm trying to speak. I don't want to stop talking.
you know what?
I don't want to stop talking. Like
Oh, you can.
just because I deleted my channel doesn't mean I want to stop talking.
Okay.
I never
Well, you're
stopped
welcome.
speaking. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever, it
And
doesn't
well,
matter.
then you should keep your channel.
I'll never
You
stop
should.
talking. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm never gonna stop talking about this kind of stuff. I may
Okay.
delete all the channels. I'll delete all my channels, but I'll never stop talking. So just because you don't see me, that doesn't mean I'm not there.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Well, you're always welcome on this live stream, so just letting you know.
Well,
And
thanks for having me.
yeah, of course. For a while, you were talking about some guy named Zombie in his live stream. I mean, what was the deal with that? That was the last time I kind of really heard from you.
Yeah, he had a big change in his channel too. I influenced a lot of his people, including him. I had a huge influence on that guy's life. He's changed his perspective. There's a lot of people on that channel that got influenced.
Okay. And was he a
Yeah,
TI?
I don't know. I didn't really, we never talked about that really. I just used his live stream to talk. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't care what we talked about. That's what I'm saying. Like, nobody's gonna shut me up ever. I'm never gonna shut up.
You ever thought about doing that? Just having a live stream on all day long and just talk about whatever, like you said?
Well, they want your number, and there's certain words I cuss too much and stuff like that. There's certain stuff like that that's going on.
Well, you
Like
can stop.
I had to change a lot about myself
Okay, like
and
what?
my teaching style. You saw how raw I was. I was a rough teacher. I
Yeah,
wasn't easy
you
on
didn't
people.
care about much. You just kind of say whatever you want to say, and you just didn't
Yeah,
hold back on.
I was like, yes, I was just like, right, unstoppable. That's what I'm saying, unstoppable.
What
So,
made you have this realization that you just you need to change yourself when it comes to that?
oh, well, it started to become, well, I pushed people to a limit, a certain, my followers, which is only around 400. I pushed them to a limit to where I couldn't teach them anymore. They had to go out and teach. But how do I do that? I had to disappear to get them to teach so they'd stop listening to me and they would start teaching. And that's what we want. We want more teachers. I get people talking about gang stalking, and they've been talking about gang stalking for 7 years. You probably even know some for 10 years. I don't know how long they've been talking about it, but they haven't changed. They keep talking about the same video. You know what I mean? They keep
Yeah.
talking about the same experience and that same thing. And I'm like, when are you guys going to change? You have to delete your channels and become somebody else because you
It's
can't
a good
just keep
point
doing
because
the same thing.
for instance, like, do you have a lot of neighbors? Like, how's your neighbor situation?
Well, I don't now. I don't have a lot of neighbors right now.
Okay. So do you notice the difference when you're having a lot of neighbors compared to no neighbors? Like, does this living
Yes,
environment?
people used to, well, yeah, people in apartments, they're having a hard time with gang stalking because they're in the apartments. It's the same thing. People can't drive down this road that I'm on. It's a dead end road. So where are they going? It's dead end.
Yeah.
I live on a
And
dead end road, so it changed shit a lot. Yeah, it changed.
did,
Moving where I'm at now, yeah, it changed things. Because
okay.
people would sit out in front of my house and have conversations in front of like my vehicle, and they'll talk in front of my vehicle, and they'll have to group and talk around the neighborhood. They can't do that here. There's no
And that
business
makes
for
it hard
anybody
for
to
you,
be out.
right? And that makes it
Huh?
hard for you to, and that would make a TI have a difficult time to overcome this gang stalking thing because there's people around them or him or her.
Yeah, their family too. They think their family. A lot of these people getting gang stalked. You guys think your family's your friend? No. And just like that David guy was saying, it pushes you into spirituality, and your friends and your family can't come with you. Nobody can come with you here. This is a solo journey, and it does make it worse. You're right. You have to get into a space where you're not codependent on people, but we're codependent on people. Everybody is. We all need each other. We're human. So it's not easy, though. You can't say it's easy, though. It's
Oh,
not. Even for them to get away from people, it's not going to be easy task.
I want to add to that. Okay. So if you're going to be by yourself, that's where you also have to really recognize the quality of your thoughts. Because one thing for me is my family, they can distract me from thinking about these gang stalking related stuff, right? But I can't say the same for all the TIs. And as a TI, if you're by yourself, okay, you finally get to be by yourself, and you are always alone, you have to recognize the quality of your thoughts, because if they're sending you negative thoughts and you buy into it all the time, then it's not much better than before. So as you progress, if you want to be by yourself, fine, but don't let those negative thoughts constantly, get into your head. So the quality of your thoughts is also very
Well,
important.
all right. So there's something that I do that not a lot of people do, and that's writing in the journal.
Yeah, journal. I have a journal too.
So
So
my
journals.
thoughts, right, but my thoughts get captured, negative or positive. They're captured. Nobody doesn't. I'm not going to say nobody does this, but nobody does it like I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're
So
not
you write negative
capturing
thoughts
every
too.
thought.
So you write negative thoughts and positive thoughts into
Yeah.
your journal? Okay. That's new.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is different. Usually people only
I
write
mean,
positive
it is
things, right?
more positive, but yeah, if I think one of the neighbors is hiding in the bushes and yeah, I have to write that down. Dates and times. And I told the gang stalking community the best thing you can do is get a journal. But they don't have the time. They can't do it before bed. There's just no time. You don't do it. It's something that it's not for everybody, I guess. It's not.
I have a
But it,
journal, but I don't write in it every single day. I only write in it when I figure something new or something new's happening that I just experience,
okay,
then I
well,
would
I
write it
think
in.
that people should definitely write their goals down and what they want out of life. And then you can tear up the piece of paper and throw it away. But it has to be written. There's power in your goals, at least your goals. Write your goals down and then do something with it. I don't care, throw it away.
But just the
Because when
writing
you
part.
write it, you write it, you put it into fruition.
Okay.
If you're planting the seed of the reality that you're creating in your life by writing it, that's the first thing you do is you have a thought. Then what do you
Yeah.
do with the thought? The thought leaves and then comes back. Well, write it down so the thought's gone and doesn't come back.
But when you read it, it triggers it back.
I don't read it.
Oh, you don't read your journal?
Nope.
Really?
I don't
Well, you
read my
gotta at
journal.
least look at it.
No. Why would I look back?
Kind of like help trigger the thought of the goal.
No, I'll just rewrite it.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. That's the first time I heard that.
Yeah, it is. It's different. I do stuff that nobody else is doing because they don't care that much as I do.
Hmm.
I mean, if
I mean,
people are if you're getting gang stalked so severely, then you need to make changes in your life. But are you
true.
willing to go through the challenge to change your life? I got people that are getting gang stalked. Like I said, they'll make the same video, and then they don't change anything. They just keep making the same video for 7 years.
Mm.
They're
And
not doing anything in their life to change the perspective of the gang stalking.
that's very true. And one thing that I can say is, just the TI community, but I also believe that the TI community, a lot of TIs, we all got our own secrets, so we're not fully sharing everything in detail. And maybe some of these details is what led to the whole gang stalking starting in the first place. But when it comes down to it, it's all about your guilt. Do you have any guilt? Are you doing things where it actually gives you guilt, inside your head? And it shouldn't be like this for be gang stalked for 10 years and nothing changed. Obviously, there's something that's going on that's giving the TI guilt, and the guilt it's a way for the gang stalkers to turn it into a pattern of negative thoughts. And so, what are these guilt? And only the TI would know. If you can identify them, maybe you can change them and try it that way. Maybe that will dramatically, alter everything in your life and make the whole gang stalking just disappear. Who knows? But only you would know your guilt.
So
And
you're
a lot of
saying that they're holding on to guilt and shame from something in their life? Is that what you're saying?
But here's the thing, though. TIs, I would say people don't think of it that way. Even though they're doing something that's a a gateway for these gang stalkers to mess with their thoughts, right? Their thought pattern. But a lot of TIs, I would imagine people in general just don't think, oh man, I'm doing this is so bad. It's a form of guilt that I'm having, and it's making me vulnerable to these sequence of thoughts. Maybe if you're a drug dealer, right? If you're a drug dealer, I would imagine you're always thinking about you're gonna get caught up, because that's one common sense is you're a drug dealer, you're a TI. Well, what can you do? Well, stop slanging drugs. I mean, that's one of the guilt you would have, right? Because you're slanging drugs and you're worried about gang stalkers. Maybe try doing that. But if you're going to continuously slanging drugs and in the back of your mind, you're always worried about gang stalkers, I mean, those two, of course, not going to go. I'm sure the gang stalker will also make the TI think about who's a snitch, right? Probably the people that the TI is dealing to. At some point, the gang stalker is going to make the TI think, oh, that person could be a snitch or that person is a gang stalker. There's all these different ways for the gang stalkers to mess with the TI's mind. So if you would just stop slanging drugs, wouldn't that make everything kind of goes away in that category? But I don't slang drugs, so I wouldn't know. But I know, a person have guilt, and guilt's what leads to a lot of these negative thoughts. It's a way for the gang stalkers to work into people's mind. Okay, God plan comes to fruition regardless of what we say or do. His judgment is precedent. Um, I only God would know this, and it's a good thought. So more power to you if you believe in it. Definitely more power to you. If a person ain't open-minded, they just can't fathom the possibilities until they either have an experience that makes them question possibilities or they get curious to know. Most are distracted with everything else like music, drama, movies, celebrities, etc., mass media, that they can't even entertain the idea of clandestine government operations against innocent citizens. I mean, surrender as in realizing that what is against you is out of your hands. Ultimately, the surrender needs to be to a higher power to help instill some hope, or else one can get stuck and crazy. Okay. There's a lot of things going on in our lives. It's just beyond us. I agree with that. And in a way, I would call that divine intervention. So, yeah, I I see what you're saying on Average Joe. It is there. There's a certain point in life where it's just beyond our control, and the only thing we can do is just hope for the best. So that is divine intervention. And let me tell you, I believe TIs are a lot closer to the divine than the majority of people on this planet. So, with that being said, these gang stalkers, okay, even the divine, you know that saying how, oh, they can always hear us. If you pray, they can hear us. In my last video, I will show you how that works. I will show you, and I'll try to use as simple explanation as possible to show you how this works, how they can hear everything we say, we think about, how when we pray, they can hear us, how we're all connected. I will show you. For my theory, I will show you. And I truly believe that whatever we say, whatever we think, they can hear us. So it goes back to, try to be a humble person. Your thoughts should be humble, your ideas, the way you see other people, you should have, be humble about things and be understanding, have compassion, because it's definitely being heard and also received by the divine. I truly believe that. And do they care? Well, it's not up to me to say. I would believe that some of them will care. I can't say all of them will care, but some will care. And that's go back to the battle of good versus evil. There's always the two sides at work. And when you receive these knowledge, these type of information, maybe it's not what you believe in. Well, guess what? It's once it gets into your head, it can help you later on, because I know that for a fact when it comes to my experience, there are things that I went through, I experienced, it's meaningless, but then one day I experienced something else, and all of a sudden, what was meaningless before, now it makes sense. So you might be listening to this and you might be getting information that you don't believe in. That's because you haven't had the experience to make sense of it. And I don't know when you're going to have that experience, but one day when you do, you will know and you'll think back on it and it'll connect the dots. So just keep an open mind, like an Average Joe said. Just keep an open mind. And if it doesn't make sense to you now, it just might make sense to you later on. And I know this is true because I went through this many times. Well, it looks like that's all the comment. Do you have anything else to add, DNA?
No, thanks for having me on.
Oh yeah, of course. And you're welcome to come back in the future because I would like to have you back on. I think people, there are people that ask about you, and
Oh,
I even
yeah. Okay. So, yeah, tell everybody I'm back and I'll try to get on again.
I'm sure the people that watch this live stream, they already know you're back. And yeah,
Oh,
I will
okay.
let people know that you're doing good if anyone asks. And you're welcome to join any of my live stream in the future.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll get off of here then. You have a good night.
Okay. Hey, your living situation. You said you're living at a dead end. Like, how's your safety? Is it safe to be there by yourself?
Yeah, there's cameras everywhere.
Okay, good.
Yep. I have cameras set up. Yeah. The neighbor has
Did
a
you watch
camera.
did you watch the beginning of my stream, of this stream where I showed the video?
No, I didn't know.
I'm gonna show it one more time in case
Oh,
the
okay.
people.
Cool. I'll wait. All right. Ciao.
Tell me what you think of this video. I'm gonna turn down the volume. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna share the screen, okay? And I want you to tell me what you think. This is from 2 years ago. Can you see it? So I'm gonna play it.
I see it.
Have you
It looks like a
captured
fence.
Have you captured anything like this at your place? I'm sure a lot of TIs have seen this before. Have you seen anything like this?
It looks like the wind's blowing dust in the camera.
Ah, so you believe these are dust, huh?
That's what it looks like, debris.
Okay,
It looks like the wind's blowing debris.
okay. Well,
Why?
that's good.
What else could you have to slow it down to look at the debris, I guess. It looks like it's raining outside.
I'll see if I can slow it down. No, it wasn't
It
raining,
looks
and
like it's raining. That's it.
it's not rain. I'm gonna play it in half speed and see what you think of it. See, that's what a lot of people, there are people out there that believe these are dust, but they're not dust.
I don't know. I guess it looks like dirt.
Yeah,
On average, Joe. Hi, how are you? Yeah, I've been under that name. I could change my name if you guys want me to. That just goes to show names don't matter.
I mean, the ones in the community knows who you are, and you should start making videos again. Now, I'll tell you, this is not dust. These are not dust. If you really want to know what they are orbs.
I guess I don't have evidence of that. It doesn't look like that to me because there's not one, there's several. So it looks like dust.
You see, that's one thing I realize. These things are like a traveling army. There's more of these than living humans.
Right. So have you seen the Legion?
The movie?
Even the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, End of Days, he gets gang stalked at the end of that movie. And it's like a bunch of demons.
Well, I'll have to watch that again. I can't remember. It's been too long since I watched that movie.
Yeah, it's End of Days and then that Legion movie where just demons just flood you. You get flooded by demonic entities.
Okay.
It's where one person gets poltergeisted by demonic entities. They get bombarded by a bunch of them.
Okay. We'll have to check it out. I mean, I used to never like movies like that, but ever since, all this, what I research and what I know now, I actually can relate to a lot of those movies now. I actually can relate to the writer
But you've
of those
seen
movies.
the movie Fallen. The whole movie Fallen is just gang stalking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a great example how in the movie, it seems like whoever the person touches, it gets possessed. You know, how it kind of transferred to a different person.
It moves through bodies and channels messages through people.
And that's a great example because these gang stalkers, that's what they can do. They have the ability to manipulate anyone.
Yes.
Manipulate anyone.
That's why I said your mom's not your friend.
What's that?
That's what I was telling people. Your family's not your friend. Your friends aren't really your friends. You're on a solo journey.
Well, for me, when it comes to that, it's really, I guess it's case by case. But I see what you're saying. They do manipulate your loved ones into going against you. They absolutely do that. Absolutely. And that's why when the TI, they try to talk about this stuff to their family and they just never budge. They don't understand it. Because the gang stalkers, when you try talking to your family and loved ones, the gang stalkers already on their head, making them think in a way where they don't understand what you're saying. Like you try to express what you're going through to your family, but your family, when they're listening to what you're saying, their mind's not going to process what they're hearing the same way as you want them to process it. So that's why they would say something that's completely go against the TI and completely downing the TI. And that's where all these negative experiences start happening.
Yeah.
It's because these gang stalkers, they can get on their heads.
Yeah. And that's why we have this platform. That's why we have you, a place where we can go and have these stream yards.
Well, thank you for joining me, and thank you. And I
Yeah,
just
I'll
hope that
see
I can.
you around.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll
And
start talking more and we can talk about whatever. Get your guys'
yeah,
questions together.
yeah. Hey, and if you want, you can email me too. Feel free to email me sometimes if you want.
Okay, well, have a good night. Thanks
All
for
right.
sharing the video.
No problem. Nice talking
All
to
right,
you.
bye.
Bye. All right. Well, that was TNT Storm. I call her TNT because that's how it all started. I remember her by TNT, and I hope she's okay with that. Nice to meet you, DNA. Yep, TNT Storm. Yes. Actually, I'm confident that this type of phenomenon is happening to all the TIs. They're actually quite common. If you have cameras outside your home, just check them once in a while. Check, especially when there's a lot of overhead clouds. When there's a lot of overhead clouds, maybe you should check your CCTV, the outdoor CCTV. You might see this stuff flying. Okay, they're just flying in formation. They're flying. It's almost like they're going somewhere. It's like they're being guided towards a spot, a location. They're like an army. Okay, it's like an army of them flying. And in the earlier my live stream, I thought they were bugs. My initial thought was they were bugs. So I would go outside and there'll be no bugs out there. And some people do believe these are dust. I mean, I guess it to each depends on the person. There are TIs in the community that would see one or two of these on their cameras and they would believe it's the neighbor using directed energy weapon. But I have other footage I would like to show to you guys later on. But when I get them, there are like millions of them. They're like a huge army. And I was saying how when I go outside, I don't see it with my eyes, right? But I can see it on TV. So if I'm outside, imagine I'm standing right there. If I'm standing right there where this was filmed, what do you think is happening? Well, one thing for sure, whatever it is, it would be flying into my mouth. It would be flying into my lungs, up my nostril, into my ears, probably stick to my clothing, on my skin. Would that be a fair assessment? So I'm going to leave you with that thought, okay? Just if you're standing right there and you're inhaling, those things will be flying into your lungs. Fallen's perfect sample. Okay. Oh yeah, you made a mention of smart dust. What is smart dust? Is that like some type of like a nanotechnology thing? I just show a video that I uploaded recently of these lights, these flickering lights. Looks like fireflies, but they're just coming on and off, just these lights, which is really strange. And I don't know what those are because those are stationary compared to these are actually being moved by the wind. Okay, so it is like a nanotechnology. I should look that up. Smart dust or nanotechnology, and I'm gonna look it up. Um, I can't deny it. I'm not gonna deny. I can't doubt that. But I have other videos where I am indoor with these type of things flying around, and they're round and they're circular and they're orbs. So, are there correlation with them? I don't know. But one thing for sure is, usually people call them orbs. And in my last video, I will show you guys my theory. I will try to connect everything together and try to explain it as simple as possible. And I know not all of you will be convinced, but I would feel that majority of you would be more believer than not. So thank you all for joining me. It's almost 2 hours. I will end the live stream. Looks like I answer all the comments. And feel free to comment in the comment section. The video I have, the orbs are different in size and move intelligently. Oh, that's a good thing you brought that up. They do come in different sizes. Absolutely. And the ones I have indoor, I requested to move a certain way. And not all of them did, but some of them did start moving in a pattern that I requested to move, which is kind of strange for anyone to, that's a skeptic and see that. But I believe these things, there's more to these things than what society understands. And there needs to be awareness to the existence of these things. So that's a good point you brought up on Average Joe. Intelligent entities. And if you really want to look up videos on these things, you can do a YouTube search, and I'm sure you can find something on them and something convincing. Maybe I would do that in my next live stream to show you guys. But until then, thank you all for joining me, and have a good night. Yes, good night on Average Joe. Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining me. And thank you, David, for joining the live stream, and TNT Storm. Nice to hear from you. So until next time, have a good night, everybody. Shimho, signing out.